It's time now for the High School Notebook, and once again, we are happy to be joined by Matt Trabold. Matt, thanks so much for hopping on board.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Hey, want to start off talking about somebody in the area who's getting some looks from D1 now, and finally.
So earlier this spring on this show, I brought up how East High sophomore point guard Damani Barley received that first big offer from a D1 program. Such a big recruiting moment for him. And then this past week, it happened again for another underclassman guard from the Section 5 area. Current Bishop Kearney sophomore Miles Rose just picked up an offer from Bryant University out of the Northeast Conference. While he is not quite as tall as his older brother in 2020 NBA draft prospect Quinton Rose, but as guards go, really nobody is. So he still has great size at 6'4" for a player that can hold his own really at both guard positions. He operates and scores well through crowds and contact. In his second varsity campaign, you really saw this past season, you could definitely notice a jump in confidence and aggressiveness. Now, next year, he will not be at Bishop Kearney, but he's going to prep school ball. He's going to renowned prep school, Vermont Academy, which is where Webster Schrader's Emmett Holt was slated to play before being offered by the Indiana Hoosiers. So it's a big program. You really think it's just going to go up and up and up for his recruiting. It's really good to see. He's a great kid. Smiles Rose a lot of times on the court. Great kid.
Let's talk. You brought him up. Let's talk about Quinton for a second.
Yeah, so I mentioned a minute ago how the older brother of Miles Rose, Quinton Rose, was a 2020 NBA draft prospect. He is right now. He is absolutely an intriguing name for this draft, which might get pushed back to maybe mid-September due to COVID-19. Nothing official yet there. Before you even get into his repertoire of skills on the basketball court, it is undeniable that he won the physical lottery as a 6'8" player that can play both guard positions. Plus, that impressive wingspan helps him disrupt lanes with ease on defense. Top 40 nationally this past season in steals average, and he was also dominant with his steal numbers as a junior. Quinton routinely had big performances again and again against big opponents this past season alone, against Villanova, against Wichita State, against Cincinnati. He's also signed with a gigantic name of the agency industry in Rock Nation. That's only going to help him even more.
Let's talk about lacrosse and some guys locally playing college lacrosse. It makes it kind of funny that this, as we record this show, this would be the day the Lacrosse National Championship annually would be played. It's the Monday of Memorial Day. So, it's fitting to talk about some college lacrosse right now.
And absolutely. And that's always such a good event with all the different divisions and those championship games. So when you're really thinking about what the top program in Section 5 boys lacrosse is, your mind might not go directly to Churchville Chili, but what a couple of college lacrosse sophomore stars did during the shortened season that recently wrapped up, it means that Saints program deserves a lot of respect. First off, Albany attackman Corey Yunker. He played sparingly as a freshman with that team as he logged time in 11 games, only 6 points, but he exploded as a sophomore with 18 points, 10 goals in just 5 games. That included a hat trick in the season opener versus Cornell, then multiple goals versus 7th-ranked Maryland. We talked about him last week. That's a big program to be scoring goals against at that young age. Plus, then he ended the year ranked 4th nationally in shot percentage, so he's efficient as well, on top of putting plenty of goals in the back of the net. Then there's Canisius attackman Jacob Buck, another former Saint, who went for a whopping 44 points, 30 goals as a freshman. He was named the MAAC Rookie of the Year. And he followed that up with 19 points in 5 games as a sophomore. That included 6 goals against Hobart. That's absurd. Those Saints are doing big things.
That's great to hear. Hey, Matt, thanks for joining us. It's great stuff as always, buddy.
Thank you very much for having me on.
All right, you stay well, man. And we are back with more of the High School Sports Beat right after this.